So what is reverb, you might be asking? So it serves that we don't want to end up with a sound, mainly a vocal or any sound, to be super dry as the Sahara Desert. But sometimes when reverb is overused, it can cause tiny problems. Like it would take up a lot of room in the mix. What is up fam, it's Mike and welcome back to another video, and what I have for you today are awesome ways that you can do with your reverb as a beginner. But if you have an experience, you're still welcome to watch. We'll be messing around with the reverb today. Well, I don't want to waste any more time. Join me, start up your door, we'll hop on it. Let's go. So welcome, we are in Ableton right now. So I'm using purely stock reverb for this one, just to sort of let you know that you don't need to buy third-party reverb plugins, because you think the stock reverb on your door is rubbish, but nope, they're just fine, and you'll see why in this video. So first, using return tracks instead of inserts. The return or aux track is a container of audio effects basically, that every output of any track that is in your DAW can be sent through the return track using a send control. So basically what a send control is, a knob that you can actually tweak to control how much audio signal you want to send through the return track. Now then, it will return a processed signal depending on the audio effects you put into that return track. So we're gonna create a new return track here by right clicking and then insert return track. We're just gonna make it big so that you can see it, and then we're gonna name it reverb. So the next thing we want to do is grab a reverb. So this is the Ableton stock reverb. So we're just gonna crank up this dry and wet knob. Alrighty, so the reason why you might want to use return tracks for your reverb instead of using them as an insert, especially lead vocals, is that using return tracks will give you both of the dry vocals and the reverb, and it will sound like this. I'm gonna try and crank this send control right here, which is ABC, and we have ABC here. And we're gonna crank up the C return track. So we're gonna send an audio signal to the
And now
track.
I guess it's time for me to get used to you. And now I guess it's time for me to get used to you being gone.
So that's what it would sound like when you use a return track compared when you use it as an insert. I'm gonna try and copy this one. Put it here. Let's see how it sound.
And now I guess it's time for me to get used to you being gone.
I mean, you don't want to use that as your lead vocal. I mean, it comes down to your preferences. It comes down to whatever sound you're trying to make. This is not a rule. So it depends on what sounds you're trying to make, you choose. Alrighty, so while using return tracks, it's already a good start for you. Next thing you can do with your reverb is to EQ it. So this EQ technique is called Ableton technique, being used by tons of producers out there. So what you can do is to grab an EQ, have an EQ in Ableton. So if you don't have an EQ built into your reverb like the Ableton reverb has, you can use any EQ pretty much, analog, digital, as long as it has low pass and high pass filter, it will work. So what you can do is to grab the high pass filter and then you filter it around 400 Hertz. There we go. Next thing is we want to grab the low pass filter and there we go. We're gonna filter it around 7 kilohertz. So just to let you know, these are not concrete frequencies. Just, they're just guidelines. Not like, you should follow them. Not like that. So, yep, we have it EQ'd. I mean, you can EQ the incoming signal, the input signal, and you can also EQ the output signal, which we can actually put this here. But I actually like EQing the input signal if we're going to the reverb. Really depends on you. Play around with it, go crazy. So the purpose of this EQ is that it will only affect or reverberate the frequencies inside of this range, which the 400 Hertz. up to 7000 Hz. So frequencies above 7K or 400 Hz, below 400 Hz, most likely you won't even hear them anymore. So this will give you a much cleaner sound, preventing any sibilances and low end and also muddy frequencies from being reverberated and affected, which is not too good in the context of the mix if it's actually too much. So this is what it would sound like when you actually put EQ before the reverb or into the reverb.
And now I guess time for me to get used to you being gone. And now I guess time for me to get used to you being gone.
I'm gonna solo the return track so that you can actually hear what is going on there. This is with EQ. Without EQ. That's a big difference right there. Righty, so next, as I said earlier, reverb creates space. So with a pre-delay knob right here, we can actually play around with the distance of the sound. We can play around how far or how close we want the vocals to be. Pre-delay is basically the distance or time between our dry vocal and the reverb. We're gonna play around with it. I'm gonna crank it up so that you can actually hear it. First, I'm gonna play the original one.
Now I guess it's time for me to get used to you being gone.
Get up so that you can actually hear the difference.
Now I guess it's time for me to get used to you being gone.
It comes later compare if you crank it down to here, which will make the reverb a little bit earlier. So most of these come down to preferences depending on the song that you're trying to produce and all that.
Now I guess it's time for me to get used to you being gone.
So I think this is a perfect pre-delay amount. We can also play around with the decay time. Decay time, if you want longer tails, you can use this one.
Now I guess it's time for me to get used to you being gone.
See that heavenly vibe.
Now I guess it's time for me to get used. Now I guess it's time for me to get used to you being gone. Gone. Gone.
Okay, so usually most producers like to mix this technique with a slap back or just normal delay. Instead of having that pure dry delayed vocals, we can add a tiny bit of this reverb or pre on it like this. I'm gonna try because I have a delay here. Bring this one up.
For me to get used to you
this is what the delay does.
For me to get used to you being gone.
I'm gonna try to mix it with the reverb.
For me to get used to you for me to get used to you being gone.
Sounds nice. So yes, and final cool way that you can do with your reverb is to sidechain it. So what sidechaining is that it will duck or turn down the volume of an audio you are sidechaining if the audio you are sidechaining to starts to hit. So a good example of this is a kick and a bass. Now when you sidechain the bass to the kick, and every time the kick hits, the bass will duck itself, making a way for the kick, if that makes sense. So I have no idea how you just understood that one. But so same thing goes with the reverb. Reverb can actually be messy, I tell you. So what we're gonna do is we grab a compressor. Now for this one, I like to compress or sidechain the output signal. So any compressor that has sidechaining capabilities would actually work. Now we sidechain the reverb to the lead vocals. Original, So let's mess with the settings first. I like to set the attack like just about like 1.5. Not too slow, not too fast. Or just 1 would work, 1 millisecond. Depends on you. Use your ears. So I kinda like it just fast. So I like to kind of see the attack setting as the reflex of the reverb, because the attack is how fast it will duck the reverb when the lead vocals will hit. And for the release, I like it to be fast. Not too slow, not too fast. We don't want it to be like this. It's milliseconds. Like that. So release is the setting that you can tweak that defines how long the reverb will go back to its original volume when the vocals are not actually hitting anymore. So for the ratio, I kind of like it to be just 1.8, not too much, not too low. So basically, ratio determines how much compression or ducking you want to make on your reverb. So now we play the vocals and we play with the threshold. So threshold is the level that the vocals should hit in order for the sidechain compressor to work, in order for the reverb to be sidechain. Alrighty, so we tweak it as we play it.
And now I guess time for me to get used to you being gone.
Now you start to see gain reductions there now.
And now I guess time for me to
Let's switch to the different mode.
And now I guess time for me to get used to you being gone.
As you can see, every time the vocal hits, it sidechains the reverb, which it's actually visible.
And now I guess time for me to get used to you being gone.
We can go extreme with this one.
And now I guess time for me to get used to you being gone.
So I'm gonna remove the delay.
And now I guess time for me to get used to you being gone.
Let's do it without the compressor.
And now I guess time for me to get used to you being gone.
With the sidechain.
And now I guess time for me to get used to you being gone.
It sounds more up front to me. So it's giving me that more upfront vocals compared if you actually turn it off. It's actually nice because while it's giving you that upfront vocal, it still has the reverb.
Being gone.
There, that's the reverb tail. So the best part of using return tracks is that you can actually use it on different audio tracks, which I'm gonna use it also for this background vocal that we have here.
And now I guess it's time for me to get used to you being gone. You're gone.
That's our background vocals, and then we're gonna use a little bit of reverb here.
And now I guess it's time for me to get used. And now I guess it's time for me to get
Without it. Oh. Without it.
And now I guess it's time for me to get. And now I guess it's time for me to get used to you being gone.
It's nice. I love it. And now I'm gonna try and play it with the track that will be coming out next week. It's called Gone. It's a pop rock genre, and I hope that you will enjoy it. Here's the sneak peek.
And now I guess it's time for me to get used to you being gone. 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 Now I guess it's time for me to get used to you being gone.
So all of the things that I showed you are not rules. So they are just things that you can do it yourself and experiment with. In music producing, you can absolutely break the rules. Try new things when you will, as you should. You just take all of the things that I showed you and try them for yourself. See what you can change to fit your vibe, your style, or your taste. And go crazy with it. I don't care. Just make it sound good. At least for the listeners and for yourself too. Your improvement. And I hope you learned something from this video. I will be doing part 2 of this, so make sure to subscribe, turn on the notifications so that you won't miss it out and any of the future contents that I will post. So yeah, that's all I have for now, and thanks for watching. I love you guys as always. Have fun and peace out.